everybody. This is Tiana S reporting for Kids First, and today I'm going to be talking with a director, producer, and filmmaker, Sebastian Sdaigui. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. I am really happy to be talking with you today. So today we're talking about your new short film, Run for His Life, which I got a chance to see, and it's really amazing.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind.
You're welcome. So, really, what was it about Pete's story that just made you want to share with the world?
Well, it's really just Pete in a sense. I mean, the story was great because it's about like incarcerated. His father was incarcerated, and what I
Yeah,
found really interesting is no matter what his like situation was, his race, his color, anything that I guess would you would consider holding you back, he just persevered and just kept moving forward. So regardless of the situations that were up at hand and what he had, he just kept going and going and going. And I think I found that really cool and relatable, and I was like, man, Pete doesn't let anything hold him back. So I kind of want to join him on this journey. And so with that and his story, I wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to make something with him.
yeah, it's truly a great story. And how did you tend to make it more like you were proud of Pete instead of sad of him?
Right. Well, it's just to see somebody come from humble beginnings and to overcome any obstacle. I thought, I mean, that's what a modern day hero is. He doesn't allow anything to kind of stop him. So with that, I just focused on that because it was the most relatable. It's like Pete had this, he had that, he had this, but it didn't stop him from achieving any of his dreams. And so I like that.
Yeah, he is truly inspiring, and he really just did stay strong with everything that had happened.
Yes.
So, what was your process with building rapport with Pete, get him to tell his story to you?
Our process was kind of simple. Me and him liked the same music. So we went for a walk and talked about music. And then with music, it kind of related to how we kind of grew up. And then we found another thing that kind of drew us together. So with music, similar backgrounds, taking a nice walk, we were able to actually have a good conversation and be honest. And from there, it was just a friendship built over, I guess you would say, a story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really important getting a chance to like build that rapport with people so then it's almost like you know them, like they're your
Right.
best friend.
Right.
So I noticed that there were a lot of different scenes inside the film where he was like crying or was just really sad talking about his story. So how were you able to keep filming and just stay focused without seeing cut or like going over to comfort him?
Um, what made that, I guess, part of the process is because me and Pete built such rapport and he was comfortable with me. When he was telling his story and he wanted to cry, I kind of just sat there. I didn't really stick my head in. I didn't say anything. And as you can see, he kind of built himself back up. He built his own
Yeah.
courage. So with that, sometimes you just got to be there for a friend and, stay quiet, just be there. And I think your presence itself is all what they really need.
Yeah, I agree. That's really just so nice and heartwarming. So what is the biggest lesson that you have learned from creating this film?
Honestly, to no, don't let anything bring you down. Life is hard. I mean, currently we are going through something that we all can relate to with the COVID, but no matter what, don't let anything stop you from achieving your dreams. And I think Pete is a great example of
Yeah.
just overcoming any obstacles. So as things go hard, life doesn't work out the way you want. If you stay focused and you work really hard and you have that one thing you want to accomplish, just like Pete and many others before him and after him, you can do it.
Yeah, that's a really great lesson that all of us can take away from.
Absolutely. Oh, and the second lesson is be a good friend. You never know what someone's going through. And I
Exactly.
think because Pete is such a friendly guy, and if you would have just met him down the street, he would have gave you the shirt on his back and you would have never known anything that he had to face.
Exactly. And that's why, like, a lot of people probably didn't know about him, but just by this movie, not only do you get like a big lesson from it, but you also get to learn about things you may not have known.
Absolutely.
So what impact do you hope that Run for His Life has on the world?
What impact? I think the impact from Run for His Life, outside of being just a motivational thing, it can also show people what incarcerating someone's parent, what it does to the kids, and how it kind of affects them. And it just doesn't affect that one person. As you can see with Pete and his whole family, he had a whole family, a whole support system. And luckily, because they had each other, they were able to overcome it. But it's a good film to see about what life is for a kid that has to go through, I guess, growing up without a parent.
Exactly. And he lost his dad at a really young age.
Very young.
Yeah. So something that I was able to learn is that the main character Pete is actually also a photographer
Yep.
and tells stories with pictures. But what's the most challenging part of telling another storyteller's story?
Ooh, the thing about storytellers, I think, is I don't think they're really they can't really tell their own story.
Yeah.
So it's always easy because they're from the outside, always looking in, but it's hard to kind of look at your own situation. So with Pete, we, as I said during our walk, he worked for a label called Def Jam. I worked for a label called Def Jam. I showed him my photos and art. He showed me his photos and art. And then by the end of it, he says, I trust you. And so with trust, we were able to build something real honest.
Yeah. That's really nice. Yes. So you have how has your previous jobs, because I know that you have also directed music videos. So how has your previous jobs like that helped you with creating this film?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the way it helps me is it allows me to adapt and overcome. Just like the story with any other job, there's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be an uphill fight. But because we kind of know how to move on our feet, any situation, we can just adapt. But what Pete's specific story is, it was nice to make something for the heart versus just being cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did. I can tell just by watching everything and even the trailer that it really came from the heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then just so for my last question, Run for Your Life was an official 2020 American Black Film Festival and the Emerging Directors Showcase. What advice do you have for young emerging filmmakers that may want to make their own documentaries when they grow up?
I say just start making things now. Grab your cell phone, grab anything, and just make things. Practice telling your story. Have fun. If you have someone interesting, whether it's a family member, a friend, or just somebody you see all the time, maybe have a conversation with them. You don't necessarily always have to film everything, but I think talking and engaging and getting to know people will just help your storytelling process.
Yeah, I can totally agree. Thank you so much, Mr. Sebastian, for joining us today. Again, this is Tiana S reporting for Kids First. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. That's all for now. Bye.